Tag and Brag Nation and Goose Chasers, what is up? Goose Chasing, episode number 103. 103. We are back. We took a healthy month off. Had a lot of work to do, Had a lot of work to do. Was getting ready for ATA, was getting ready for SHOT Show, had a film festival, film tour video to produce, and that takes a long time. Takes a lot longer than our vlogs, takes a lot longer than some of our other edits and stuff for social media. So we were just, we were in the lab grinding away and finally getting back in front of the microphone. It feels dang good. A lot to talk about coming off of the Ohio season that just ended, and the buck that I just was able to kill, have the opportunity to shoot, and made good on that. So yeah, there's a lot to talk about in Tag and Brag land. First and foremost, I will say that we've got some new apparel on the website. We've been fielding requests for this for a long time. But if you go to Tag and Brag, TAGNBRAG.co, you will see there is brand new apparel on the website. Logoed apparel. We got some stocking hats. We got some new hats. We got hoodies. We got long sleeves. We got crew necks. We got t-shirts. We've got stuff with our original logo. We've got stuff with our social media, like circle logo on it. So I think threw on a lot of things and, got some stuff for some different flavors and different people's requests per se. So we're gonna keep diving into that, and we're gonna add more to the mix. But for now, there's probably a fresh new 6-8 pieces on there with a lot of different color variations. Go over to tagandbrag.co and check that out. We appreciate the support very much. So, and appreciate everybody reaching out, honestly, to just request it. That means a lot to us. That means that, I don't know. That means that you want to be a part of the brand. You are officially a part of Tag and Brag Nation, and that's just good stuff. So thank you for the support and those endeavors. It definitely helps us out. For me, specifically doing this full time, it helps put groceries on the table. So along with our hunting efforts, it helps put some groceries on the table. So thank you very much in advance for your support, and thanks everybody who has supported that endeavor so far. But yeah, tagandbrag.co, a bunch of new apparel up there. So where do we begin? January has been a whirlwind. The end of December was just kind of grinding away, as I said, kind of in the lab, so to speak, behind the computer, doing a lot of admin stuff, getting our media kit squared away, getting our existing partners all squared away, and then, trying to connect and build some new partnerships as we build our brand and as we grow as well. So moving into January, that all kind of continued, but we started off January in Indianapolis at ATA. ATA show is my favorite show of the year. I know people will gripe and say that it's going downhill, that it's not what it used to be, but my humble opinion, we're all a part of this industry. We all can play, or anybody that is a part of this industry, we can all play our part in showing up for each other and showing up for the hunting community, the hunting industry in and of itself. And so part of it's on us to show up for things like this and show presence and have fun and shake some hands and kiss some babies and whatever the heck else you want or need to do in that realm. But I don't know, a part of it to me feels like our responsibility to partake in that stuff and be present. So I went. Dean ended up coming midway through the week. We had a bunch of family there, which was awesome, and the the cool part about ATA this year was it was open to the public for the last 2 days. So our family and friends got to come in and enjoy that with us, which was pretty cool. A lot of cool things to see at ATA, a lot of new connections made, a lot of, just friends to see. That's honestly what I like about the show so much, is that it is the one or the few times throughout the year where, as a part of the hunting industry and that community, we all get to see each other again, in one space, and in a space where all the doors are open, and, you can kind of rub elbows with like Michael Waddell or the Drurys or some of the people that you've looked up to for so long growing up. And some of them weren't there this year, but either way, I love that show for that reason. It's a place to, or it's a time to kind of get back with everybody, see how everybody's year went, and just enjoy that time and that camaraderie that brings the hunting community together. So certainly enjoyed that. I got an opportunity to host the premiere of the Whitetail film tour, which premiered at ATA. Awesome time. Probably 300 plus people there on stage with a microphone in my hand. Was kind of crazy, and just something that I've always dreamed of, especially as the Badlands Film Festival was evolving. I'm always like, man, I want to host this thing. I want to be the guy that's kind of rallying the crowd and that's intermittent in between each of the films. And I don't know, I like that environment. I tend to thrive in that environment. To some people, it makes them nervous. I mean, for me, heights makes me nervous. To some people love heights, so it's just different avenues and different venues that you feel comfortable in or that you are nervous in. And not that it doesn't make me nervous standing up in front of a crowd of people, but like, I'm a very energetic individual. I how do I say this? I project a lot of energy, but I also absorb a lot of energy too. So being able to give and take to the crowd or to crowds like that is very just therapeutic for me. And this avenue and, this podcast and stuff, that's all therapeutic too, because I know there's an audience listening as well. But there's something about like a live setting like that where you're kind of giving and taking to a bunch of people, and being able to kind of exploit your personality and being able to just be yourself up there, which Nick and Mark gave me the reins to do, which was awesome. And so that opportunity was great. Certainly looking forward to hosting more events, more of those events and more events like that in the future. But it was an awesome experience for the first time that I got to be behind the microphone in front of a big crowd like that, and in my space, in my wheelhouse, involved with a bunch of people that I've kind of dedicated my life to, or in a space that I've dedicated my life to. So that was awesome. And then from there, had a week off, came back, hunted. I mean, I've been hunting Ohio like crazy in the month of January. Seen a lot of deer, had a lot of encounters with deer. I just haven't seen like a decent buck, quite honestly. And my standards were drastically lowering as the season went on, and we'll get to that in a second. But basically came back for about a week, was hunting, shooting content, and then went to Vegas for my first ever SHOT Show with Rocky and their whole crew, which was an awesome, awesome experience. Big shout out to Rocky, specifically Shelby, and Brian for having me out there, and just entrusting in me. You know, I did a lot with their social media out there as far as taking over their page. They did Rocky just launched the boot series with Buckmasters. So I got to spend some time, like literally had dinner with and spend some time with Jackie Bushman, which for all you young guns out here is Jackie was probably one of the pioneers of outdoor TV and outdoor videos, especially for me growing up. Like Buckmasters was one of the main avenues that Dean and I watched growing up. So, I mean, Jackie's got to be in his mid-70s now, or he's got to be 70-something now, but he's a pioneer of the space. He is still going strong. He has got such a young and energetic personality. He's so welcoming. He's so happy. He's just so enthralled in this business. And it was really inspiring to be able to have some time with him in and amongst our group, to be a part of that launch in the little way that I was throughout that, the couple days that I was at SHOT Show, and then just honestly being in Vegas for SHOT Show. My first time in Vegas ever, my first time at SHOT Show. Vegas is a different world. SHOT Show is a different world. You think ATA is big, and then you go to SHOT Show and it's literally like 10 times the size, quite literally. And I probably saw about half the showroom floor. So apparently there's like a basement under the main SHOT Show floor that is the same size, if not bigger, than actual SHOT Show. And I didn't even get down into the basement. But regardless, it was an awesome time, awesome experience. Great time in Vegas for the first time. And, just immersing myself in all of this, immersing myself in the hunting world, in the hunting community, and being able to get opportunities like this is all stuff that I dreamed of, growing up. Not even growing up, but like in the past handful of years I've dreamed of. As I'm starting my career in the hunting world, I've been dreaming of this. I've seen, the social media posts and people posting from SHOT Show, and I'm like, man, I would love to experience that. As I said, I'm watching the Badlands Film Festival over the last 10 plus years, and, just different live events in the hunting space. And I'm like, man, I want to be the guy up there presenting. I want to be the guy up there with the microphone in his hand. So to be able to kind of knock a couple of those off the list, or just kind of, I don't know, put that on the resume, I guess, is like, for me, it was awesome. I'm so grateful for the opportunities. I'm so grateful to do it. I'm so grateful for the people that I got to do both events with, and thank you for entrusting me in that. I know, I've worked really hard, and we've all, like at Tag and Brag, we've all worked hard to get to this point, and we've gotten to the point where, the camera is, and shooting the content and documenting our journey is the main focus. And like, to some degree, like, the hunting comes secondary. And so as crazy as that is, and as crazy as it sounds, it's the truth. But that's what's allowed us to carve our path in this industry. That's what's allowed us to get to this point. And so I'm proud of that dedication that we've had, because it's allowed for these type of opportunities to happen. And for anybody out there that's seeking their notoriety in this space, or just their notoriety in whatever they love to do, you can go on social media and you can envy the people that are ahead of you, so to speak. You can envy them. You could want to be there, and that's all good. Like, having those goals and having something to chase, that's all very, very healthy. But don't lose sight of and lose track of where you are in the current moment, because I can tell you one thing right now. There's going to come a point where you wish you were back right there, soaking it all in. you wish you were back in the beginning stages and like taking advantage of the nuances that has, as opposed to when you elevate yourself and when you create more attention around yourself and when you have more of the limelight or have more of the spotlight on you. So if you're just starting out on any journey, and this is what goose chasing is all about, like if you're on the goose chase of life and you are just starting out on any new journey, just lean into it. And what I could tell you is try not to get caught up with the outcome. There is no outcome, really. There isn't, because there's only benchmarks, and you're going to hit one benchmark and then your sights are going to set themselves on another. And that's just human nature. That's just universal law. That's just the energy of how we all tick and the energy of how all of this works. So there's only benchmarks, and set those benchmarks for yourself, but like then come back and be in the moment and be where your feet are and enjoy that ride up to that next benchmark. And when you get to that next benchmark, you could take a deep breath, you could settle for a second, but then it's like, okay, now on to the next one. And that's how you keep elevating yourself. And it's just like, don't get so caught up in hitting a home run every single day. It's not going to happen, and it's not realistic. But if you are just laser focused on making a little progress every single day, maybe you still have a full-time job doing something that you don't love to do right now, and you're moonlighting in what you're passionate about, or you're trying to build something on the side of what you're passionate about on the weekends or after hours or whatever. Like, lean into that, number one. And number two, just enjoy where you are, and don't belittle yourself or don't judge yourself on not hitting a home run or not making gigantic progress every day or every week. Like, come home and do something for a half hour or an hour. Chip away at it. Chip away. Like, it's gonna pay dividends for you. Whether it's a month from now, whether it's 6 months from now, a year from now, multiple years from now, you just having that mindset of like, I'm not worried about where this is ever going to take me, but I know that is actually where I want to go. And I'm just going to keep chipping away every single day and giving myself a chance, or giving myself an at bat every single day, and keep doing that day in and day out. And it doesn't have to be a lot, but just push forward. Don't get stagnant. Don't go backwards. Just keep pushing forward a little bit and elevating yourself a little bit more. And you're going to wake up one day and you're going to be like, holy shit, how did I get here? But it's because it's that little push. It's that little progress. Every single day, we all want the quick fix. I'm no different than anybody else. Like, not the quick fix, but we all see things because the world is so connected via social media now. We all see things and we're like, I want to be there. Like, I want that as a part of my life. I want to have this house. I want to have this relationship. I want to have this business. I want to make this much money. I want to be this. I want to do that. Like, you can have and be and do whatever it is you want to do. But it may not be right in this very moment. Some of that is alignment with, are you ready for it or not? Some of that is a higher power knowing and putting you in the positions where you are ready for, because he knows far better and far greater than we do. And his timing is ultimately the only timing that we are on. It is not ours, and is not our, It's not our script to write, per se. The script is already written. We've just got to live it, and we've got to engage in it, and we've got to move it. So just make a little bit of progress every single day. I'm preaching to the choir right now, and I'm speaking to myself, and this is an avenue, honestly, that has allowed me to speak to myself even more than you guys could ever know, because a lot of what we preach on here are things that I need to look in the mirror and do the same damn thing in the current moment. and keep doing that to get to that next benchmark, to get to that next level, to keep leveling up and to keep tag and brag, goose chasing, going to where the ultimate goal is, to where we want it to be. So that's my fairly long rant for the day, but we'll get back to the Ohio hunting season. As anybody that has been following along with this journey for quite some time, they know that I've spent the last lot of seasons in Ohio with a Ohio tag in my pocket. It's no secret. I talk about it. And this year was no different. This year was no different up until a couple days ago. But grinding away, the thing about Ohio is it's our home state, yes. We don't have any real big farms to hunt. And that's not an excuse. I'm just telling you what it is. We've got more land resources in other places, quite honestly, specifically our land up in New York at Camp Cutlet. We've got a good buddy, Parker, in Kansas, where we've got thousands of acres at our disposal. We've got a family in North Dakota that we go see every year that we have thousands of acres, at our disposal. We've got Uncle Jay down in Tennessee who's got far more acreage than we have to hunt here in Ohio. And that's on us, honestly. It really and truly is on us, but it's the reality of our situation right now. And so we've always kind of put Ohio to the back burner a little bit, partially because of that, but also because the season is so long. And when the New York season ends January 1st now, when Tennessee ends the first week of January now, North Dakota ends January, Kansas is over in December, I think late December. We still have a month of hunting in Ohio. So there's a reason we go out to North Dakota at the end of August, early September every year, because it extends our season on the front half of the season. Well, there's a reason that we always hold on to our Ohio tags until January or late season, because guess what? It continues to extend our season this way on the back end of it, but it also is a very difficult time to hunt. It's actually, I take that back. It's probably one of the easiest but most difficult times to hunt. If you've got the deer, if you know where the deer are bedding and you're close and your property is close or holds the deer in and around the bedding, then you can be in the money. All you need to wait for is a good weather front, is some cold weather, and hopefully some snow, and a significant amount of snow, because it seems like when we get 10 inches to a foot of snow or more at this time of year, it's the deer get stupid, and they're already worn down from the rut. They're already trying to replenish themselves, and they're in all-out survival mode at that point. They're going to feed. And we've got tall tine out in a lot of different places on a lot of different smaller chunks right now, and it's the deer they're hammering it. But it's just in the small acreage spots that we have to hunt, we were not close this year to where he was bedding, or really to where any of the groups of bucks were bedding. We were getting very few and far between bucks in daylight on our trail cameras. And so, but it's it's going down into the single digits right now in Ohio. We've still got probably close to 2 feet of snow in most areas. It's compacted a little bit, but what the cold has held the snow here since Winter Storm Fern, whatever it was, a couple weeks ago. And now it seems like there's not a huge drastic change in a lot of the weather, but there is cold weather every single day. And when that sun starts to go down, the temperature drops off the shelf and there's a ton of snow on the ground. So right now, you almost it's almost hard to predict like when that day is going to be when he's going to move, and you almost if you've got a spot where you can access pretty easily, which we have one or two of those, one being behind my dad's house, like you've got to just be in there. Like if you can get in and out of it undetected, you've got to just be in there because you don't know when that day is when he's going to take a walk. You really don't. So I mean, that's what I've been doing. If my dad's not hunting back there, I'm hunting back there. If I'm not hunting, he's hunting. And it's like we were occupying this blind on most days. We were seeing deer every day. He had a couple close encounters with bucks that I don't know, that maybe at this point he wishes he would have shot, or he could have, would have, should have shot. He actually hit a really, really big buck in the shoulder a couple weeks to a month ago at this point now also. And I don't know, for whatever reason, like these bucks just weren't showing up in daylight. So we're, just trying to get out ahead of next year. And Dean and I, on the phone talking, we need a lease for next year. We need some ground that we can plant some food plots on, that we can, dedicate our land management strategies to, that we've developed up in New York. If we can make them happen up in New York, you could probably make them happen just about anywhere in the country. And if you apply that here in Ohio, like, my goodness, who knows what could happen with how many big deer are running around here, and just how the age structure is totally different. So Dean and I were talking amongst ourselves, and I'm like, all right, well, I'm going to start just reaching out to some of our personal network to see, if there's anybody that knows of anything right now, get out in front of it, put some bugs in some people's ears, just so that if and when something does pop up, that we're out ahead of it. Maybe we could go shed hunt it. Maybe we could turkey hunt it this year, kind of learn the lay of the land a little bit and understand it, to where then when we do put some time into it for food plots and land management stuff, like we already know it and we're ready to go. It's like we don't have to really fast track anything that way. So start reaching out to some of our personal network. One of the guys that I reached out to, his name's David, and he ironically was hunting with us up in North Dakota. Him and his brother met the landowners whose property we hunt up in North Dakota a couple years ago while duck hunting. They actually had Joe and his son out to Ohio a few years ago to their place, and Joe killed a really nice buck here in Ohio during shotgun season. Well, Joe had called me, earlier last spring, or later in the spring, early summer maybe, and said that David wanted to come out and hunt North Dakota. He wasn't going to have a ton of time to come out and hunt, but just asked if Dean and I would be willing to kind of show him the ropes and maybe set up a couple spots for him, and just so that he could have something to be ready to come out and hunt. And I'm like, yeah, for sure. I mean, I wish I could do that more in all the spots that we hunt, because I'm so grateful for the opportunities that we've had, not just in North Dakota, but in Kansas, in Tennessee, out in Colorado and Montana, like all these places where we've had an opportunity to go hunt. Like, I want to bring people. I want them to experience it firsthand like I did. So when Joe asked me, it was a no-brainer. Like, of course, we'll help him get set up. So I went out there early in North Dakota, and I set up our normal spots. And then my mission was to get another probably 5 to 6 different, like, non-posted pieces or just different permission pieces that I could set up some tall tine and set up a couple cameras on. And we could just have more options when we were in North Dakota, because I knew that we were going to have a few more guys hunting with us. And so worked it out. David and his buddy are coming up there. Dean and I got up there early the week before Labor Day. Obviously, you guys saw Kane got his first velvet buck, a really 150-inch 9-point on opening day that I got to be with him and film. And then David and his buddy were coming in on Sunday. So that was Friday. Kane shot his buck. David and his buddy were coming in on Sunday. So we're hunting in the meantime, trying to gear up for them. And we had a handful of spots picked out where some bucks were daylighting. And it just so happened the one blind that Dean and I really wanted to get them into, there was 3 different bucks that were hitting this spot, and they were pretty frequent in daylight. And so they got in Sunday. Monday, it was going to be a perfect win for that blind. We're like, you guys got to get in there and see what happens. I think they both brought bows in with them in the blind. And sure enough, one of the 3 bucks comes out right before dark, gives David like a perfect 20, 25-yard shot. He smokes this thing, wheels off into the slough, goes down, and literally they drive in on Sunday, and David's got his first ever velvet buck on Monday night at the house. And we've got 2 deer down now in 4 days again for the second year in a row in our camp in North Dakota. And we're like on cloud 9. I mean, Dean and I are now, we're like, our standards are raising even higher in North Dakota because like we got 2 bucks down. Like, what else can we do? How can we push the envelope a little bit further? Well, the next day the wind was pretty strong. The whole group of us didn't really see too much. And then the following day we had another blind that we were like, we had one really nice 8-point and a couple other pretty solid bucks that were coming to in daylight. And we're like, it was going to be, I think, their last day to hunt. Maybe they were going to try and squeeze one more day in on Thursday, but this was Wednesday at this point. And we're like, go to that blind, see what happens. It was a real tough spot to get in and out of. So it was like you could only really hunt this blind like maybe 1 or 2 times throughout the week. Otherwise, you were going to blow everything out. It's like literally in the wide open. Like everything around it is wide open. So they go in there. Lo and behold, David's buddy, Junior, shoots a buck on their last night there. So they 3 nights, 3 hunts. They shoot 2 bucks. They're packed up, driving all the way back to Ohio, like literally on cloud 9. And Dean and I were too. Like, we're like, holy smokes, we've started to be able to figure these North Dakota deer out. And it was really cool to be able to have them 2 out and have them have success. They didn't have a lot of time to put in. And it's not easy in and of itself to get out to North Dakota and to scout, to figure the deer out, to then hunt and put yourself in bow range of any deer, let alone a good buck. And our first year out there, our first 2 years out there, we struck out. We were finally in bow range of a buck the last day of the second year that we hunted there. That was the first day that we were in bow range of a buck within the first 2 years. And we decided to pass him. There was another big deer with him, and he never came in. But the first 2 years, we didn't even know what we were doing. So going out there and thinking that you're just going to go out there, set up shop, scout these deer. I mean, it can happen. For sure it can happen. But not ultimately very, very likely. And being able to have those guys out there in 3 days, they both got bucks, going back home and just on cloud 9, early September before the Ohio season even starts here was awesome. So David and I kept in contact throughout the year, and he actually had a lease opportunity for Dean and I earlier in this past season. It didn't make sense from us from a distance standpoint and from all the trips that we already had planned for the season. So we elected to pass on it, but nonetheless, flipping the calendar year into January of this year, Dean and I started to talk about a lease again. And David was one of the people that I'm like, I'm going to just reach out to him and see if he knows of anything, knows of anyone, knows of any property. So I did. And he's like, yeah, we could definitely find something for you guys. And then he just started kind of asking how my season went. I'm like, I still got an Ohio tag in my pocket. We got a couple weeks left. This and that. He's like, I do too. He's like, I still got an Ohio tag in my pocket. And he's like, why don't you come out and hunt with me? He's like, there's probably like 3 different 8-points on the one farm that I'd like to get taken off of there. And those were literally the 3 deer that he was hunting. The big deer that he was hunting earlier in the season had already gotten killed. and there was not really much of any age class on the other farms that he has. So these were basically the 3 deer that he was hunting as well, and he invited me out to come hunt them with him. So I was just like, sure. Honestly, like, I accepted the invitation because, number one, David's he's an unbelievable human being, like super generous, caring, just a great human being. He's a great hunter. And for nothing else, I wanted to spend a couple hours in the blind with him just to BS, to catch up, to be able to bounce some ideas back and forth off of each other from a hunting standpoint, from a land management standpoint, to talk to him about leases for us for the upcoming year. I knew we were going to see deer because I knew his properties, the way that they have them set up. They do their homework. They set up their properties the right way. They don't pressure them. I knew we were going to see deer. I just did. I knew we were going to see deer, but like, I didn't go there with the expectation, or I didn't plan to go there with the expectation of killing something. It was more of connecting, for the two of us to connect. And it's a great opportunity to sit in a blind with somebody, enjoy the scenery, enjoy the hunt. And that's what I love to do as well. But ultimately, be able to sit there and connect a little bit more, on all different levels also. So, excuse me, I got a dry pallet. I had to refurbish it with a little grape propel. Anyway, we tried to line it up, I think, two different other times, and it didn't work out. It was kind of winding down the last week of the season, and we had Monday and Thursday with a good wind for the one spot that he wanted to go to. And Monday he texted me a little bit later in the day. I already had a full day. I wasn't going to be able to get down there in time because it's a couple hour drive for me. So Thursday we set our sights on it, and one or two of the bucks had daylighted throughout that week on his trail camera. He went out Monday and saw 30 plus deer, but did not see one of the shooters. So we go out there, I pick him up, we go out to the farm. It's a frigid cold. Single digit temperature day with the wind chill probably close to zero. We still got at least, 8 to 10 inches of packed snow on the ground. It is cold. It is frigid. And the sun was peeking out a little bit. I'm like, man, this is just a perfect late season day. We get in the blind, and we didn't even barely sit down on our chairs. And I look over, and there's a doe 10 yards to our left, literally coming from basically the path that we walked in on. David was a little nervous that he was spooking these bucks when he was walking in there. But when I actually got to see it firsthand, you're basically walking up like in between two pretty steep ridges, and you're in the valley of it, and you're walking up there, and then you just hang a left and you walk about 30 yards up to the top of the one ridge, and the blind is sitting right on the top, and the ridge drops off pretty quickly on the other side, and the blind is overlooking a beautiful valley that leads down to a standing bean field that they had planted. And there's some bedding up on top of the valley and up on top of the ridges on the other side as well. And I'm just like, man, this is it's awesome. It's perfect access for this late season. It is so hard to get in and out of some of these places because everything is bare. Everything's wide open. The deer are skittish at this point. But I'm like, man, the access, I don't think they're seeing you coming in and out of here. So, like I said, we saw that doe right off the rip. That kind of proved concept there. She had to have literally walked up our trail, more or less. And we're just sitting in the blind. We saw a couple deer far off, enjoying the time, 45 minutes or so, and all of a sudden these deer come in from our left, or are starting to come in from our left, and all of a sudden it's like 1 deer, 2 deer, 3 deer, 4 deer, and I throw my binoculars up, and the last one was I just saw flashes of like solid rack. Meanwhile, this hunt you can see on our YouTube channel now. So it's live on our YouTube channel already. I'm just kind of talking through it and talking through my feelings on the whole matter and on the mix. But I'm like, David, there's a pretty good buck. The last one's a pretty good buck. And he throws binoculars up and he's like, oh, that's one of our shooters. And I'm like, no kidding. I mean, we're in the blind 15 or 45 minutes. Like, it's barely 4 o'clock at this point. Mind you, we've got 2 hours for sure until dark. I think sunset was like 5:37 or 5:38 that day. So we had till like almost 10 after 6 for legal shooting light. I mean, it is well before dark. This deer's coming in. We're both freaked out. We're both like, holy smokes. I can't believe this deer is essentially in the first group of deer that we were seeing coming into the feed. And mind you, this is the best buck that they have on their farm right now. 8 point, but it's the best buck they have on their farm right now. They've got a lot of, I say a lot, they've got 3 to 4 like 10-point frame 3-year-old bucks that are really, really nice up-and-comers. And David's whole thought was this buck and maybe a couple of the older ones would essentially run them off next year when these 3-year-old bucks are going to be shooters next year for sure. I mean, they're going to be 150, 160 plus inch deer. And some, 1 or 2 of them could blow up into something even better than that. So I guess the motive was, or the thought process was, let's take out 1 or 2 of these older deer and preserve some of these up-and-comers to be on the property for next year when they're going to be like truly trophy animals. But still, this is the biggest deer that they've got on the farm right now. And when we got into the blind, David was like, you're shooting first. And I'm kind of like, okay, yeah, like, okay, I'll shoot first, whatever. I'm getting into the blind. I've got a smile ear to ear. I'm just happy to see new scenery. I love sitting a property for the first time, not knowing what's over the next ridge, not knowing what's into the next thicket, and just being able to grasp literally what you can see and have to like almost make up what's on the other side of some of this stuff. I love hunting a new piece of ground for the first time. It makes me so happy. And so I like, once again, my expectations, like I don't have any. I'm just happy to be here. Happy to be here. Grateful to be here. Grateful for the opportunity to come hunt with them. And this buck is coming in and I'm glassing this thing and I'm like, this is insane. Like, this is crazy. This is by far would be the best deer that I've ever shot in Ohio. By far. I mean, let's take it back. It's been 10 years since I've killed a buck in Ohio before. So my last buck, I've killed a lot of deer in that amount of time. I've killed a lot of bucks in that amount of time in New York, North Dakota, just elsewhere. And so I'm looking at this deer. I'm like, this is not, I don't even like, this is crazy. This is almost weird. Like I almost feel like I can't do this. And the deer finally comes in and gets to the feed. He's 25 yards. We got the windows closed. He's facing us. So there's nothing we could do about shooting this deer right now as it is. I'm honestly pretty calm at this point. I mean, jumping out of my skin because I'm like a kid in a candy store with being able to just witness this deer like in front of us. But I'm fairly calm because I'm still in disbelief that all this is happening realistically. And I'm like, David, you need to shoot this deer. Like you got to shoot this deer. Because both of us, you see trail camera pictures of deer, and especially at night, and then you see them in person, and especially in the snow, and you're like, oh my gosh, that's a different ballgame right there. That's a different ballgame. And it was. I'm like, David, you got to shoot this deer. He's like, nope, you're up first. He's all yours. Like, basically, like when he turns broadside, are you going to take the shot? I'm like, yeah. So we watched this deer chase the doe and a spike back and forth, away from the pile, 80 yards through the woods, back, 80 yards through the woods, back. And every time he would come and he would face us, finally, third or fourth time he does that, he comes in from the right side and he's standing dead broadside, 25 yards. I'm like, all right, I'm good. Stand up. David opens the window for me, pull my bow back. I'm like, hey, can you open the window a little bit more? He opens the window a little bit more. I send it, stroke this thing, absolutely hammer this thing right in the front shoulder, blows through the front shoulder with the REK HXP 2 and lodges in the opposite shoulder, right through both lungs. This deer takes off. His one leg is just literally hanging, like dragging. I mean, he's got nothing. And he runs probably 80 to 100 yards. He stops. He kind of wobbles a little bit, and all of a sudden, boom, falls. In sight, down right there, like perfect shot. I mean, you could see the blood pouring out of him as he was running away. I'm in disbelief. It's literally a little after 4 o'clock, and I just shot the biggest buck on his farm. But do you understand what I'm saying here? This is the first time I'm hunting this farm. This is somebody else's farm. I am with him in the blind, and he lets me shoot the biggest deer that they have on that farm. Like, that's not normal. That's far from not normal. That's unrealistic in today's day and age. And maybe it needs to be more realistic, but it's not. Everybody is so possessive of the deer that they have on their property. Everybody is so possessive, and understandably so. If you put work into that specific piece of ground and you're managing it for the deer herd, understandably so. But also, it is the reality. Like, whitetail hunting, to some degree, still has the camaraderie around it. I think as a group, and generally we do, but it's happening less and less like that as a group and together on these different pieces of property than it did back when I was growing up. That's for sure. So I'm like, honestly, it was hard for me to, it's still hard for me to describe how I feel about this whole hunt. Number one, I beyond grateful, can't say thank you enough. Can't thank God enough for the opportunity. Can't thank God enough for connecting David and I. I can't thank David enough for allowing me to come out there and literally be in the blind with me. And this deer's coming in and say, you go. Yeah, I can't put into words my gratitude for all that, because I'm a land manager myself, because we have land ourselves, because we do the work and put the work in for these deer ourselves too. And I know and appreciate what that whole scenario means. I know and appreciate what that whole scenario is. And so I'm still shook. To be honest with you, I'm still shook of the generosity of David. And I know, Dean and I, we put in the work, and they came out to North Dakota and they got 2 great bucks. And David went home with his first ever velvet buck that's going on his wall as well. But I didn't do any of that work for anything. I did it because I love to do it. I did it because it was extra work on top of setting up, spots for Dean and I. It was extra work. But number one, I got to see and learn some new property in North Dakota that I've never seen before. That's a win. I got to see and learn some different deer than we've ever hunted before up in North Dakota. That's a win. And I just love doing that. I love doing that. And it put some of the equipment that we use in the Moultrie cameras, in the XOPs, in the Whitetail Institute tall tie, and it put some of that to the test as well in different areas that we have never hunted before in North Dakota. So that was a full-on win for me regardless. And actually, it was even more of an ego boost when they did come in and shot a couple bucks, because I'm like, Well, shit. I could like guide out here or something, you know? Like, I mean, that's what I'm thinking. I'm like, we could put this together for people out here. And in 3 days, they go home elated with $2 in the back of their truck. You know, it was almost too easy. We'll come full circle. In this scenario, it's 4:15. David and I are sitting in the blind where we can see the best buck on his property down 120 yards from us. And we've got like two hours to try and do it again. So trying to wrap my head around that and comprehend that as I'm in the blind was, I don't know. Once again, it's hard for me to describe it. It's hard for me to describe the gratitude that I have for that moment, for David and what he gave to me, what he gave up for me. And 10 years ago when I tagged my last Ohio deer, if you would have told me this is how it's going to go down, you know, for your next one, and it's going to be 10 years, I would have never believed you. But that's just where, you know, how cool hunting is. You know, there's a lot of different scenarios in the hunting world where you can create your own luck and just put yourself in the right scenario and luck falls your way. And then there's the scenarios that when they happen, they just make perfect sense, and you realize that this is exactly how it was meant to be. It's exactly how God timed it up to be for whatever reason, and there are reasons bigger than what David and I have already experienced together. I believe that. There's bigger and better reasons that these are building blocks to get to that point. But I mean, you think about that. Like, think about, would you do that? Would you give up your best buck on your property to somebody on the fourth last day of the season? The fourth last day of the season when you yourself still have a buck tag in your pocket in your home state, and you give that up to somebody else? That's insane. That's insane. That's not real. That's not real. So my heart goes out to David and his family. I mean, I'm on the phone with Dean in the blind, or we're on the phone with Dean in the blind, and then David calls his wife because they watch these deer together. They hunt together. Like, and she's as happy as he is for me. For me. We've been hunting together for 4 days now. 4 legitimate days. And between 3 of us, we've killed 3 different deer in 4 days. I've known David and David's known me in our hunting world. We've talked on the phone numerous times outside of that and gotten to know each other and shared stories, experiences, all that stuff. But hunted together for 4 days and we've killed 3 different deer. Like, something is going on there. Something's going on there. And you know, on the phone, it was cool because we called Dean on the phone, and even he was like borderline in tears. And he was thanking David for allowing me to come out, and us essentially, because I've said it before and I'll say it again. Like, I shoot something, that's a tag and brag buck. My dad shoots something, that's a tag and brag buck. Uncle Jay, Dean, Cuzzy, those are tag and brag deer. Like, somebody pulled the trigger on that thing, but we're all celebrating it as if it's our own. So you hear that emotional response from Dean, and Dean literally thanking David on the phone for having us out there and for putting me in a position to break this like incredible curse in Ohio that I had, and the monkey off my back that I've had in Ohio. And you know, I was lowering my standards this year. At the end of this year, in January specifically, you know, hunting behind my dad's house, hunting at my grandpa's house, I'm like, I don't care if it's a basket 8-point at this point. Like, I am not going into another season saying that I haven't killed an Ohio buck in 11 years or however many years. I'm not doing that anymore. So I'm getting this monkey off my back regardless. I wanted more meat in the freezer regardless. And quite honestly, going down there, I was just looking forward to seeing deer, spending the time in the blind with David. And I already really had my heart set on shooting a doe behind my dad's house or my grandpa's house over the weekend to end the season, after that. And for it to come to fruition like this, I mean, it's God's plan. It's his timing. He's got a plan for all of this. And the way that it happened, it just was so eye-opening that this is exactly how it was supposed to happen. This is exactly how I was supposed to break this streak. This is exactly who I was supposed to break it with. And the deer that I was supposed to break it on, my best Ohio buck yet, 4 days left in the Ohio season. David shot his first North Dakota deer 4 days into the North Dakota season. That's how we started our season, and this is how we're ending it. I mean, that's pinch me. Pinch me. Like, that's where hunting to me has been so impactful on my life because of situations and scenarios like this that are just unexplainable, but they make perfect sense. They make perfect sense. And that's why I'm so passionate about this. That's why I've dedicated my life to this. That's why I chase this. And it's not, the buck is a prize. And that deer will be on my wall forever. And I will forever look at that deer and be able to chuckle and think of how crazy a scenario and how crazy a experience and how crazy a memory that this was for me and for David and really for everybody around us. Because I've been fielding calls and text messages and social media messages for the last almost week about this story and how this all went down. And it always starts with, oh, you got the monkey off your back. Yeah, but listen to how I did it. Listen to how we did it, how this went down. This was a selfless act that got to this point. About as selfless as you could get in the hunting world. And my goodness, I am forever grateful for David allowing me to come out there. And like I said, the buck is the prize. But who you do it with, who you get to experience that with, and who you have that success with as a hunter is what nobody can take away from you. That taxidermy could, at the end of my days, it might be hanging in a Longhorn somewhere, and like people will have no idea the experience that deer provided a couple of individuals in a blind on January 29th of 2026. But it did. And that's the power of hunting. But it's also life in general. And, it would have been very easy and may have made more sense for me to just bypass David asking me to come out to hunt and just focusing on what we had and then out the season. I mean, it was a lot. It was a whole day. I drive 2 hours south, pick him up. We drive another hour to his property, a little over an hour to his property. You hunt for the afternoon. By the time I got back home, it was midnight. And so, I don't know. I just, it was a lot. And there could have been a lot of different times and excuses where it was like, it doesn't make any sense. Why would we do that? Why would we go? Why would I go? By myself? Dean can't go with me. He's got a daughter. He's got a business to run up in New York. Like, he can't take the time and go do it with me. I don't know. It's just sometimes in these scenarios, you've got to have the courage to just say yes and know and trust with no expectations, that the experience is going to be good regardless of the outcome. And then all of a sudden you're sitting on an outcome that you could have only dreamed of. And that's the amazing part about this. It's the amazing part about hunting. Been in scenarios this year where you do everything right and it doesn't go your way. Multiple scenarios, actually. Do everything right as a hunter. Everything right as a hunter. Everything in your control. You do right, and the outcome, and you're in the scenario that you wanted, and the outcome doesn't go your way. That's brutal. That is a brutal kick in the nuts. And then a scenario like this where you go into it with no expectations. You're just prepared mentally, you're prepared physically, you're prepared as an archer and as a shooter, but you go into it with no expectations and it feels like it couldn't have been easier. It's crazy. It's crazy. It's awesome. I love it for that reason. I love it for the people that we get to share this with, and now building this into a career for me. The people that I've gotten to share hunt camps with, the people that I've gotten to experience getting their first deer with, the people that I've experienced shooting deer myself with and being able to celebrate with, the properties I've seen, the land that I've seen, the states that I've been to. Forever grateful. Forever grateful, and just thank God for making me me. Thank God for the courage to just go and do it and not make excuses. Thank God for the ability and the drive to just not accept the status quo, to be different no matter what, to not chase a dollar really, but to chase what's in, like literally what's in my heart. And the people that it's connected me with along the way. So, and not to mention, I've got to shout out my girlfriend, Melanie, because in a lot of scenarios, you know, the person that you're with, the person that you choose to be in a relationship with, as a hunter, it's not easy. It's not easy. The schedule's unpredictable. The time of coming and going is unpredictable. And it takes a strong person. It takes a person to truly, truly love you as a person, to know you and to know what makes you tick, to give you just the decency and the leniency and the support to go chase that. And not only does she do that for me, but I texted her when I shot the deer, and she was absolutely thrilled because she knows how hard I've been working, and I've been, sacrificing time here together and time, in the afternoons and evenings and stuff like that, driving, 45 minutes here, an hour here to go to a different spot and hunt and try and fill this tag. And, took this opportunity out of the box. It worked out. She's so absolutely elated for me. Texted her. She's so super happy. Instantly was like, I'm sorry. It's going to be a late night. She's like, I could care less if it's going to be a late night or not. Well, I get home and I get home like a little bit before midnight. When it was all said and done, we got the deer, we waited till dark. We hunted it out. We saw another shooter, probably saw 30 plus deer. Thought we were going to get another opportunity, honestly. But by the time we got down to the deer, we took some pictures, did some video, got the deer, dragged it out, gutted it, loaded it in the truck. Another hour back to David's. Stopped by David's buddy who was in North Dakota with us to show him the deer because he was all fired up. Went back to David's house. His son wanted to see it. We did a quick measurement on him. And then a couple hours back here, it was 11:45 by the time I got back. She's a school teacher, up at 6:15 every morning, 11:45. Normally on a given day, she's in bed an hour and a half at least prior to that. And Get home. She's waiting up for me. I got a card on the table congratulating me with a handwritten note on how proud she is, this and that. And then there's literally a hot plate of food waiting for me on the table at that time of night. Like, Melanie, God bless you. Like, literally, God bless you. I love you so much for many, many other reasons other than that. But you make me a better human being. You push me to be a deeper and better version of myself every single day. And the support that I feel in my chase for what I love to do and my passion is elevated because of you. So thank you so much for that. And for everyone listening, I had to give her accolades and credit where credit is due, because another reason why I was in that position is because of the person that I choose to stand next to me and who chooses to stand next to me on anything and everything, and supports me and pushes me, like I said, to be a better version of myself, and to dig deeper and not give up and to keep chasing until that bell rings. And that was part of the reason why I was in the position I was in anyway. So, Melanie, thank you so much. Everybody, thank you so much for listening. Do not give up on what your dreams are. If you've got one, don't judge yourself for where you are right now or where you're not, more specifically, and keep making progress and chipping away at that shit every single day. And I promise you, one day you will wake up and you won't believe where you are and how far you've made it. And it will be all you that determines that. But just keep chipping away and making little bits of progress every single day. Y'all, it's been a blast revisiting this. Go to our YouTube channel and subscribe. You can see this full hunt, which is almost an hour long, on our YouTube channel. The 10-year drought is over. That is in the title. Check it out. I would highly please watch it and leave a comment. Let me know what you think. Like, I love hearing from everybody. I try and answer anybody and everybody that messages us, DMs us, leaves a comment on this stuff. I greatly appreciate everyone who follows along with this journey. It's been a wild ride, and it is far, far from over yet. So thank you all very, very much. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. Subscribe to our Spotify or wherever you take in your podcasts, and we will see you all right back here. We're going to get Dino up back on here soon on the next episode of Goose Chasing. I love you all. Peace.